manufacture and
so
build.
My argument goes, our lineage goes deeper than the foundation of America and the inception of America. So yeah. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Yeah. Hey, this is Third Degree creeping up your avenue. I'm about to go ahead and collect some revenue. I know my microphone is sounding a little distorted, but we about to get it right before we get started. Through the dearly departed, we just pouring out some liquor, and we with ya, and we got your pictures all across the wall. If you don't like us, then F all of y'all. Yeah, I mean, I write it in permanent blood. You're looking at me right now, we're looking for that black love. I got everything that you're thinking of. Matter of fact, we pray to the man up above. I'm just freestyling, and now I'm wildin'. You already know I'm on my own island. No Diddy, and I don't mean no pause. Like I said, we about to get a round of applause. I'm just spitting off the top of the dome. Like I said, right now, I'm on the microphone. I got Jess by my side, West by my side. And if you don't know, yes, we screaming Black Pride. It's just you and I. We about to go take it to another level. Third degree, adjust the bass and the treble. So I can go ahead and speak. I'll just go ahead and keep it concrete. I'm so damn unique with my magnificent flow. If you don't know, you better ask somebody, because right now we about to start the party, and I don't care who's standing in the lobby. I don't treat this as a hobby. I treat it like it's a job. Like I said, right now we about to go and just get some applause. I'm saying it loud. We love ourselves, we black and we proud, and we out. Yo. What's good? Man, I be listening to myself sometimes, and I be like, man, I be sounding like be spitting out sunflower seeds with this mic. I got to get me a new one soon.
That's all right, brother. It's all right. How y'all been, man? Happy Valentine's Day to my
Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Alexandria Knight. Thank you.
What's going on, Ms. Knight? How you doing? How you feeling? Good stuff. How you feeling,
As you can
Jess?
see,
good?
Yeah, I'm good. Just a little tired.
Oh man, yeah, don't worry about it. You can sleep when you're dead. You have plenty of time to rest. You know what I'm saying? While you're here on Earth, let's get after it.
That is a great perspective. And we here. So shout out to the people. As you can see, we are here. We're dedicated. It is Valentine's Day, but we hijacked it. It is Black History Month, and it's the day of love. So we go ahead and celebrate it, and we call it Black Love. Actually, Black Love was the actual day was yesterday, but we're extending it just a little bit, you know?
Right, Black love is every day.
Every
we love
day.
our blackness every single day.
I didn't know it was a day. I didn't know it was like a day, and I started like my cousin was hipping me up to it. You know, it's about Black love, whether it's about like family, God, you know what I'm saying, your loved ones, even loving yourself. It's all about celebrating it and just loving yourself and loving those around you. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really deep. Really, really deep.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a day. I'm sorry. And I missed the memo. But you know,
I mean, we just
I
found
love
out that,
me.
you know, friend of times. What is it? What is it? Friend anniversary? What was that thing called?
I don't know none
Gallon,
of them
ga-
things.
was it Galentine's Day or something?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. There you
Yeah, a
go.
lot of ladies are celebrating Valentine's today. Shout
Yeah,
out
they
to my
celebrate
cousin.
and celebrating. You know what I'm saying?
No,
No.
I helped her dip her strawberries today, so I hope they enjoy.
There you go. You ain't participating this year?
No, I'm tired.
Nah, you got somebody that love you. That was the wrong answer, man. You ain't
Oh my goodness, I would still go. I would still
Oh,
go.
you
Wow.
ain't shit.
Just
You
kick
ain't-
right, just kick me to the curb, you know what I
That's
mean?
not what Galentine's is about. I would still go.
Kick me to the curb, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Oh
I'm
my
out.
gosh.
I'm gonna go kick it with my gals. It's Galentine's Day. I'm like, okay, cool.
No, Galentine's Day is usually done on a day that's not Valentine's Day. Usually.
Oh, okay. That makes more
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
All right. No comment.
Where's my cookie? Let me tell you.
Okay. All righty then. Oh man, jeez Louise. They be coming up with a day for everything, man. You're gonna have National Pork Day. You know, the one I really celebrate is like Cheesecake Day. Blood Clot and Artery Day. You know, hey, we gonna have a day where we comb our hair together. You know what I mean? I'm just saying they come up with days for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like they have Hamburger Day,
Man.
French Fry Day, Pizza Day. The one I really care about, like I said, is Cheesecake Day, which is, you know, July 27th. Yeah,
Boy, that's really a thing.
It's really a thing. You know what I'm saying? The Cheesecake
Hey.
Factory in different places, they got cheesecake half off, and you know what I mean? Like it's a
Hey.
wonderful, wonderful thing.
Sounded
That's the only one.
sounded really big backish right there. I'm just saying. You know
That's the only one. It's the only one that makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, Alexander said it's just like Single Awareness Day, which is tomorrow, or better yet, National Side Chick Day. That's why I only knew the day after Valentine's to be National Side Chick Day. You know, that's when
Absolutely.
you know side chicks they get the half off candy and flowers. You know what I mean?
Hey, everything go on sale tomorrow.
The dude comes spend time with them on that day.
Nah, you no comment.
All right, let me get out of here.
This one. I'm not touching this one. Let's move on. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I didn't mean to offend people again. You know, sometimes you know me.
I'll
y'all
be at
know
home
me.
tomorrow.
God ain't finished with me yet. I'm just saying, like some people who are glorified, you know, side chicks. So that's basically laughing for them.
I will be in the house tomorrow with my.
I ain't mad at you.
You know what I'm saying? Minding my business.
That was sounding kind of ratchetness. So let's go ahead and get into some ratchet news.
Let's do it.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy 3rd Degree, and we're back with more ratchet news. Well, some of it's ratchet, some of it's not, but let's still get into it. Well, it's Valentine's Day, and your boy has wasted no time in being petty and just being completely weird. On the White House page for Instagram, he writes, "Roses are red, violets are blue. Come here illegally, and we'll deport you." Your boy is wilding. He is really, really wilding. But speaking on that note, Trump administration begins deporting African migrants to Panama under new agreement. I told you this is going to kind of affect people that look like us, right? But, you know, I got called, whatever. Moving on. Oh, farmers were promised millions in USDA funding. Trump froze it. Great job. Also, Trump administration orders HUD to cut 50% of workforce targeting civil rights and the disaster recovery offices. This is about to get really, really interesting, y'all. Let's get into some other stuff. Your boy Drizzy Drake is back. He speaks on rap beef and 21 Savage, Melissa Ford on new project. It was blah. Yeah, I think he needs to come harder, but moving on. Not quite certain. Linda McMahon, who is the wife of Vince McMahon, says that schools teaching Black history might be defunded. Crazy, right? Moving on. Black neighborhood shuts down neo-Nazi protest near Cincinnati, forcing group to flee in a U-Haul truck. You know what? Some of those might be some of my family members. And I can tell you one thing about being related to me in my blood, we do not play that. You know what I mean? Shout out to my peoples out there in Cincinnati and Covington. If you are out there, I salute you. We are here now, we move. Moving on. 29-year-old entrepreneur aims to make history by turning Spirit Airlines into the first black-owned airline. And then he's going to turn around and then call it Soul Plane. No, I hope he seriously succeeds. Moving on. Making America healthy again. RFK Jr. confirmed by Senate as America's health secretary. What in the entire funk? This boy is about as dumb as a stack of bricks, but you know, hey, moving on. Big Meech's Legacy Welcome Back concert was canceled. I don't know if it's due to 50 Cent or not, but 50 says, and he quotes, "I had nothing to do with this. Please stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am." He's petty. Moving on. Video shows Taco Bell security guards slapping a woman in downtown LA Katina. I don't know what the circumstances were, whether she was, she had past like problems there before, whatever, but there was no need for this dude to slap her the way that he did. And I hope that he gets fired and it was uncalled for and unjustly. So, hey, we will keep you posted on this. Moving on. Tim's becomes the first African-born woman to own an MLS club. I think it's some team out in San Diego. I know our very own DY3 Quez is not going to be too happy about this one because she's born in Africa and she's over here owning an American sports team. Foundation. I'm being messy and petty. He know I love him, man. Moving on. Teenager who got his teacher pregnant when he was 13 claims he was the one who instigated the relationship and is calling for her charges to be dropped. Yeah, he's calling for the charges to be dropped so he can go back to doing what he was doing with her. You know what I mean? Weird and sick. Moving on. Oh, shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles who beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They mollywopped them, you know what I'm saying? And it created a whole Facebook frenzy. You know, and on top of that, Philadelphia Eagles dominate Kansas City Chiefs 42-22 in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts was named MVP. That was dope. That was finally dope. He got his just due. And then speaking of, our very own Kendrick Lamar performed at the halftime show, and I'm telling you, man, it created a whole bunch of talk. And I want to know, what do you guys think of it? We will talk about it here on this show. Moving on, real quick, when Kendrick said, hey, he did that look into the camera. Say Drake. Yeah, that Michael Jackson look, right? Moving on. Kodak Black's bizarre video, eating chicken in the middle of the road sparks concern. Yeah, I would be concerned about him too. He's already a weirdo, but I think the drugs may be frying his brain. But I'm praying for him. Moving on. Suge Knight, shout out to the Art of Dialogue. You know, he's been doing a great job. He got an exclusive interview with Suge Knight. And Suge Knight claims Tupac punched Snoop Dogg in the face after claiming Notorious B.I.G. and Diddy were his friends. Snoop's going to have to respond to this. We need some clarity. We need to hear his side of the story because there's too many stories going on about Snoop and Pac. And we need to know. Moving on. Beyonce shares photos from Kelly Rowland's 44th birthday celebrations. Shout out to Destiny's Child. Hope they get together, put out another album. Moving on. Jodeci singer Casey hospitalized with pneumonia. Cancels weekend shows. Praying for him. Speaking of Tupac, though, 29-year anniversary for All Eyes on Me. Classic album. One of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? So, which was actually yesterday. So, hey, I'm going to be bumping Pac this weekend. Moving on. Another one of my favorite groups, Outkast, nominated for 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well deserved. A Aquemini favorite album of all time, along with Machiavelli and Thriller. But moving on. A rapper, Dank D. Moss, says she doesn't see herself as overweight. Quote, when I walk into the gym, I feel like I'm fit, end quote. You know, as she should. That's the confidence that she needs to have when you walk into that gym. You know what I mean? And if that's what she needs and that's what it takes, then I salute, you know, on that health tip. You know what I mean? Just the lift stuff was just kind of just excessive and extreme. But that's just me. Moving on. Issa Rae and Shonda Rhimes pull out from Kennedy Center events as Trump is appointed chairman. Salute to those sisters. Stand on business. Moving on. Well, last but not least, this is actually one of the topics for tonight, but we won't spend too much time on it. We're just going to weigh in and give our thoughts. But comedian T.K. Kirkland says it's a mental illness for a man to raise another man's child, compares it to trans people. Yeah, we will play the clip and we'll get into it, but I don't agree with that. Let's just go ahead and get into it right now. That's it. That's all I got. I'm Third Degree, and that's been your Ratchet News. Let's get into it. Enjoy the show. Peace. You always shake your head, man. What did I do?
What did you do? What did you? Wow. The narcissism in that statement. What did I do? Sir, the blatant mischaracterization of me as an individual. You know what I'm saying? That's what you did. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with people from Africa doing legitimate business, man. You do what you do. Ain't nothing to hate on, man. Get your paper up. I want to see everybody win. You know what I mean? Don't put that out on me.
I just thought you wanted maybe a foundational Black American in that position as opposed to somebody from Africa. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, man, if you didn't earn it, you don't get it. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? And plus, moving on.
What else in the ratchet news did you see?
I see that Black people are still emotional. You know what I'm saying? It's all right, man. We're going to be okay, y'all. We don't have to talk about this man every day. It's all right. Y'all going to be okay. That's what I want to tell y'all. Y'all are going to be okay. All right?
Well, you know, I got to put it in the ratchet news. I mean, he does ratchet stuff. You know, it's just ratchet.
That
ratchet
Valentine's Day shit, that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
If you're on the White House page, yeah, you out of pocket, sir.
No class, no moral. No class, no moral, no standards, no more.
Yeah, that's out of pocket. I thought you was joking, but you know what I'm saying? If that's on the White House page, you extremely out of pocket, sir. Because that's unnecessary. But outside of that, man, I don't be thinking about that, man. We're gonna be all right. Ain't that what Kendrick said?
We gonna be all right. Yeah.
That should be your anthem this year to get you out the mood. Dealing with his shenanigans.
Right. Real. You know, on the side note, I want to apologize for the Facebook crowd for last week. So what happened was I played that the Black National Anthem, and apparently it got put out through Warner Brothers. You know what I mean? So Facebook just automatically just yanked the whole stream down. You know what I mean? So, which is crazy, but it's crazy with Facebook because they be flagging me sometimes with my own music. You know what I'm saying? They be like, "Hey, copyright." Copyright, you know, royalties. I'm like, it's me. This my song. You know, what are you talking about? That's my voice. Oh, my bad. You know, they restore stuff. You know what I mean? So it's getting quite annoying.
You got to do the disclaimer. I do not own the rights to any of this music. You know what I'm saying? When we play music, apparently, because they hit us on YouTube too. So.
Well, yeah, YouTube's a lot more nicer. So it's just that, you know, with that, because we're monetized on YouTube, they'll just say, hey, you can't collect no money, no major issues. Just say it's a copyright thing, whatever. That's all they do. They just let you know. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, Facebook put it all the way down.
If they get down to go live and hey, what's up, cousin Cynthia? How you doing?
What's going on, Miss Cynthia? Yeah, man.
Hey,
but yeah, there was good stuff in there, man. What you think, Jess? Tell her, my FBA sisters.
I like the Kendrick ratchet news.
There we go.
Talk about that.
He's mad. Oh, now you mad? Oh man.
I ain't like that.
Get out your feelings. Yeah.
Man, come on, man. But yeah, so with that being said, you know, we'll go ahead and start the show. I guess, you know, our guest speaker, I have Regina, you know, Khalifa Calloway coming through. She's a genealogist. Tonight we're gonna basically just talk about FBA versus African ancestry, and it's not so much like a debate. We're legitimately just trying to pick each other's brains and just trying to just come up with, like, you know, well, how do we go about describing ourselves? You know, for me, I'm on the opposite side of the fence from the whole FBA, you know, beliefs.
We know.
Quest is on the opposite side too, but at the same time, you know, we've heard a lot about the FBA, you know, last week. So this week, you know, hopefully we get into the whole aspect of, you know, us as Black people, and connecting with our African lineage, and why it is important to actually do your genealogy. So she'll probably be coming up around like the 7 o'clock, around the 7 o'clock mark. Give her some time. She's up in Oakland doing her thing.
Let's get into Kendrick, man. What was them votes looking like? I see you put a poll up. I purposely didn't look at it.
I really didn't get them. But before we get into that, though, so because it's actual topic for tonight, because I definitely want to get into the Kendrick hate. There was also TK Kirkland, the comedian. I still, no disrespect to the dude, I still don't know what it is that what movies he's actually been in. I didn't even know but apparently he's been around for a long time, and he's just been there for like every single major hip hop thing. So he's somebody. I just never really knew he was until I seen him on Vlad TV. But he made a comment saying that raising another man's child is a mental illness. And I definitely want to unpack that, especially, for those in the Black community, especially if we're talking about Black love, equating that. What does that actually mean? And why would you say something like that? And then, also too, we are going to talk about that Kendrick halftime show, because for me, I thought it was phenomenal, but I think there was a lot of messages that went over a lot of people's heads. And of course, you had the people who, well, it was horrible. It was the worst thing I've ever seen, because they didn't get it. But I don't understand why we had some hate coming from our own community. So we definitely got to unpack with that. So before we get into it, though, for those who are on Facebook, I have the link in the comment section. If you want to come on, just know that you're going to if you're using your phone, you have to use headphones, and your headphones will work as a microphone. Make sure that you're in a nice, quiet spot. Make sure that your Wi-Fi is popping. Make sure that you're not doing too much movement in the background. Make sure you're not eating. Drinking is fine, but we don't want the chewing, because it feeds into the show. Also, we want you to make sure that you have the best representation of yourself, because this can get clipped up and get put out throughout the whole world. So, we want to make sure that, as Quez likes to say, this is a production and we're running it smooth.
Good stuff.
Also, too, again, this is a show where we allow freedom of speech, freedom of thought. You can drop your thoughts, views, and opinions. But we want to make sure that, that not everybody is going to think just like you. Not everybody is subjected to feel just like how you feel. So you have to give them that respect and just understand that they're coming from a different perspective. And, if things can get heated, there can be heated debates and heated discussions, but just make sure that we're keeping it respectful. We ain't talking about nobody's mamas. We ain't talking about pulling up. We ain't talking about doing none of that, because at the end of the day, this platform is a safe place for people to come and speak their mind, because we want to pick each other's brains and see where everybody's coming from to get a good perspective. It's all about having perspective on this show.
Absolutely. Good statement, too. You're right. Put that in the beginning of the show. Like we gotta make a clip of that for the beginning of the show or something.
I'll work on it. It's a good advice. Anything you guys want to add before we get started?
Nah, I'm good, brother. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So that way we give your cousin the time she needs, to expound upon her points and her thoughts, views, and opinions, since she's coming here to teach.
Right.
I don't want to take too much time away from her, so if we can get through some of this other stuff, and give her.
I think we'll spend a good 30 minutes on Kendrick and TK, because I definitely I don't understand his logic behind that one. And in his Black love, I had some Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's been dropping some clips and dropping some jewels, you know what I'm saying? So we can also talk about that too. But before we get into anything, let's go ahead and just drop a little bit of promo up in here.
Yeah. Hello, family. I'm Marquez.
Hey, you guys, and I'm Denisha.
We all want the best for our children, right? Security, opportunities, and a future filled with endless possibilities.
That's right, but here's the question. What are you doing today to create that future? Imagine building a business that creates generational wealth, leaving a legacy that grows even when you're not working, showing your children what it means to dream big and take action.
That's right. With PlanNet Marketing, we offer you the opportunity to earn income while still being present with and for your family. We show you how to invest in their future while securing your own and teach them by example what financial freedom should look like.
And don't just tell your kids to dream big, show them how it's done.
That's right. Comment below or
you can just message us for a direct link to our presentation.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, shout out to Jess over here. You know, she has some orders, especially with it being Valentine's. You know, she went marketing and promoting at the church. She had some orders from there. She had some orders from her son's school, and just people hitting her up on Instagram, and she's been busy all week. That's why she's saying she's tired because I've been seeing her do it from morning to dusk. You know, saying really just up here working and putting in these orders, and she had a dope. What was the box called, Jess?
Oh, the sweetheart box.
Yeah.
That box was filled with, at the top, artificial roses, and at the bottom, chocolate covered strawberries.
They're white chocolate covered strawberries. If it ain't white, it ain't right.
You can also have milk chocolate covered strawberries as well if you like. You can customize your box. However you
what the hell?
If the chocolate ain't white, it ain't right. White pop.
Oh man, good. Shouts out to you, Jess, man. Ain't nothing. Hey, that's a beautiful thing, man. Take full advantage of that momentum too. You know what I mean? And it only takes one small spark, man, to get your business, to that next level. So
with my promotion, I got another order for cupcakes. So if y'all need cupcakes for a birthday party, hit me up.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
What you got going on, Quiz? Quiz, I see this. You got a Boss Up brunch coming up in June?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Boss Up brunch in Fayetteville, Georgia again this year. Last year was supposed to be the last year. You know what I mean? But God put it on her heart to host another event in Georgia, and they reached out to me and wanted me to do some speaking again. So of course, I answered the call, man. That's what I do. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a beautiful event like it always is, man. A bunch of entrepreneurs coming together, breaking bread with each other and getting some tutelage and being able to glean from each other inspirations and stories and, just outright motivation to help you go on about your business. So it's always a good time, man. It's always a good time. Thank you for that.
No doubt, man.
I wish I could for it.
I saw the flyer. I got to put it up. Make sure I get that popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm proud of the both of y'all. Y'all doing some tremendous things. So, shout out. And if anybody out there, if you got something that you guys want us to promote, you can hit us up on Facebook. If you know me personally on Facebook, hit me up. Quez, Jess. Or if you're watching out there in the YouTube world, you can hit up Drop Your 3 Cent, how it's spelled right here across the screen, at gmail.com. Hit me up, let me know. We can work some things out. We can get you promoted because our whole platform is about building each other up, networking, and it's what we're supposed to do as a community. Also, with that being said, it's Black History Month. So I propose a challenge to those out there. Make sure that you frequent or you support a Black business, a Black-owned business this month, every month essentially, but let's make sure we turn it up extra for February and we do it for them. So whether they're out there like D, she's selling, she does hair, she sells like hair for the women. Tisha's doing live scanning, fingerprinting. Quez got the travel business on lock. Jess got the chocolate covered strawberries, got the cupcakes, got the cakes, got everything on popping with the sweets. Make sure you go out and support.
And third, with the soundtrack to our lives, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about yourself, sir. Don't do that.
Word,
You know what I mean?
word.
Hey, I do want to give a quick shout out, 'cause I did support a black business this week. Shout out to our sister Tavia Bradford, her new book, Blessings in the Chaos. So I haven't started reading it yet, just being honest, but every time one of my friends write a book or have a project like that, I always try to go and support. Especially, I love to read, so it's an easy one for me. And she gave I don't know if she just did this for me because I'm special. She could put a little personal note in there. So anybody that does sales know it's a transfer of emotion. So it's a great marketing tool. I'm pretty sure she does it for everybody, but it felt special to me. So whatever. If you got one too, don't tell me. You know what I'm saying? Let me live in my ambiance and feeling special and get my personalized card in my book. You know what I'm saying? But no, shouts out to that sister.
Right. Also, too, shout out to Kira. I'm gonna get her on here. We're gonna put her in the Drop Your 3 Cent hot seat. We're gonna interview her. She has a new book coming out, so it's one of a new segment that I'm gonna start where we actually talk and we get to speak to the people who are actually out there making moves. So that's another thing that we're gonna be promoting and starting soon within the month or two. Putting people in the hot seat as they promote their business, as they promote their entrepreneurial skills, and we get to dig deeper and get to find out a little bit the person behind the business.
Definitely, her first book was amazing too. I did finish that. Yeah, that was good stuff, man. So
from start to finish,
man. Some amazing poetry in there and spoken word, and man, it was some good stuff. So yeah, go get that too. I don't have it on hand. I'm not gonna jump up and look through my bookshelf right now, but you know what I mean. Usually I try to have it on hand, but get her book, man. We'll drop it in the comments or in the link somewhere.
Right. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get into it. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what I mean? They won the Super Bowl, the 2024 Super Bowl. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. What's up, Greg? How you doing? I mean, truthfully, you know what I'm saying? I'm a Raider. I'm a Raider by default, by nature, and I had to endorse the Philadelphia Eagles, even though I know that the Kansas City Chiefs are in the AFC. I get it, but they are a divisional rival of ours. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't hate them as much as I hate the Chargers, but you know what I'm saying? It's still like they're annoying.
They're
you know what I mean?
Second.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They're kind of annoying. You know what I mean? Like, so. But at the same time, I'm glad to see the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts got his, and man, like Saquon Barkley, you know what I mean? It was good. It was a good thing to see, and they mollywopped on them. And of course, it was brutal, right?
That wasn't even a game, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm just be honest. For it to be the Super Bowl, like that wasn't it, right there. And I had, as much as I won't really say. I'm a Kansas City fan because I'm not. I just had an expectation. You know what I mean?
Me too.
I had an expectation from them. Like I knew Jalen Hurts and them was going to come out, but I thought it was going to be more challenging than that. They 21 skunked y'all like in the first half. It's time to pass the sticks. Get off the game, bro. You know what I'm saying? We going back to the Madden rules. It's 21 skunk, man. Get off the sticks. You don't get to play no more. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? It was horrible.
Man.
It was horrible.
But I think for those who are not Kansas City fans or Eagle fans or just a fan of football, a lot of people were tuned in to catch our boy Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. I didn't have time for purposes. I don't want Facebook to just go ahead and snatch us down again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't really play the clip. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, our boy Kendrick went out there and, man, he put on a show. From start to finish, you know what I'm saying? He had Samuel L. Jackson narrating as the Black Uncle Sam. There were so many different subliminals, you know what I'm saying? So many different hidden messages. And it was a dope thing to see as far as a hip-hop show that for a hip-hop artist, period. It was dope to see.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? It reminded me of more so like it was like a theatrical performance, right? It was more so like a Broadway play, to me from watching it. From my perspective, it wasn't necessarily the hip hop show that I'm pretty sure a lot of people was expecting. It wasn't super hip hop. It was more artistic to me, and the imagery and the messaging in it for me is what made it amazing. And then of course, he did the Not Like Us for the people who was trying to see if he was gonna punk out. Yeah, but that I will agree with Alexander. I did want to hear some of the Good Kid, Mad City, and the Pimple Butterfly tracks. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing it was missing to me. But it could have been tied up into something else, so I ain't gonna complain about it because what he gave us was amazing.
Right. Hey, let's keep it a buck. He only had 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And he performed some monster hits, like all the stars, you know what I mean? With SZA, that was dope. Luther was dope, of course, but again, I understand how marketing goes, and so do you, Quez. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got a tour getting ready to come up. So, of course, that they definitely had to, market and push that. Yeah, I was waiting to see if he was going to perform Not Like Us. But he gave us two. He gave us two diss tracks. He gave us Not Like Us and Euphoria. I'm like, yeah, this about something.
Gave us Euphoria, which is super dope. And shouts out to our sister Serena, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of people were had something to say about her sea walking, and So with that being said, though, as much as we liked it, if you're into Black history, you understood. If you're into history, you understood everything that he was doing. It was essentially a show of protest. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot that he was speaking to Trump. He was speaking to just like, I would say the American elite, just essentially. And a lot of it went over people's heads. Like when he said the revolution will be televised, you picked the right time, but the wrong guy. You know what I mean? I don't think people were ready for those type of bars. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
When he started out the show, what was it with DNA? I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Then he did the other thing, sit down, be humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, folks weren't really understanding what he was doing, man. And with that being said, we had some backlash from our own community. There was people who have said, well, I felt like it needed more energy. It was boring. It was this. It was that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand. I want to talk to the crowd, talk to the people. Why do you feel like people from the Black community dislike Kendrick's performance?
Well, what's up, Jess? Give us your perspective real quick, man, while we wait on the people. You know what I mean? What would you think about the show, Jess?
I thought it was amazing. He sent out a huge message in 30 minutes. That's amazing. And it spoke volumes for those who understood. I don't understand those who didn't like it. I feel like they don't understand the culture of hip hop if they didn't like it. Just saying.
I like
that. That was good. That was damn good. I think the people who didn't like it, well, for the ones, I'm not gonna speak to the others because I already know why they don't like it. I heard all the dumb shit I couldn't understand what he was saying, and you know what I'm saying, like you know what I mean. Y'all don't listen to rock and all that kind of stuff where y'all don't know what the hell they're saying either. So I didn't want to hear that excuse. But for the people who are melanated and of the culture, because I don't want to talk to just random people, but it's time to grow up, man. That's my message that I got from him. It's time to grow up. It can't always be ass shaking and pill popping, man. I know you wanted to be entertained, but entertainment isn't always the best strategy. Sometimes you got to stand up for something, especially in the face of adversity. And if this man could do it on that large of a scale and risk, you know what I mean, the situations he got in hand that cost way more than your regular 9-to-5 type scenario, and he could stand on it. I think the message was a whole lot broader that you can stand on it as well. Quit coming up with excuses, man. Hey, facts.
Uh-oh.
Don't do my bro. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, what?
I can't
And he
get down
was
with that
walking
part.
in confidence too.
Oh man, I didn't want to bring that part up because yeah, bro, what was that?
Y'all ain't ish for that.
Yeah, they were too long. You stepping all on them. Yeah, bro, that ain't my style. You know what I mean? You do what you do, pimp. I can't do it. I'll tell you that much. You know what I'm saying? They was a little zesty, Alexander. I ain't gonna hold you. Hey, just a little zesty for real.
What's up, Mama Tucker? How you doing?
Madre.
Yeah. The pants were kind of weird. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I wasn't really paying too much time with paying too much attention to those. I was gonna say he ordered those on Fashion Nova. Like, damn. I ain't got nothing to say.
Get off the homie, man. You know what I'm saying? You own him too tough. You know what I mean? That's his style, man. Let him.
And the cold part about it, though, was that I guess those same exact pair of jeans sold out wherever they were selling them at.
Hey, it's a bunch of it's a zest fest out there now, but they didn't always got them. You know what I'm saying? It don't take much to drive the culture to something, man. Which is crazy. You know what I mean? That sold out. He said records all over the place, huh?
Yo, and that was the most watched Super Bowl performance ever, even over Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had the highest one. You know what I'm saying? But he beat Mike.
Yeah, I think it was the anticipation. Yeah, now that's where I'm at to draw the line. Do I think it was a better show than Mike's or Prince?
Hell no.
No, I can't. I don't think anybody's gonna ever top Purple Rain and it starts raining. That's a hard one to beat. You know what I mean?
As much as I love Mike,
you can't draw that up. You can't draw that up, man. You know what I'm saying? Cue Rain now. Purple Rain. Yeah, bro. You can't make that. That was a godly ordained moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
As much as I love Mike. Yeah, Prince had that one hands down.
That's always going to be the best one to me. But I think the anticipation of whether or not he was going to do the song is kind of what, because let's be honest, a lot of people are not watching the Super Bowl like we think they are. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest. A lot of people tuned in just for that halftime show.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander said, all jokes aside, it was a lit performance. I agree with you guys on Prince and the King of Pop. Others have been highly entertaining. Yeah, there have been some who have been dope. Like Janet's was dope. Who else was dope? Missy was dope. But she came out with like Katy Perry or something like that, right? The Shakira, J-Lo one was dope. Usher was dope.
Yeah. Dre, Snoop, Mary.
Oh, yeah, what? I'm sorry,
Kendrick.
y'all. I'm sorry, y'all.
That one was dope.
Beyonce was dope. Yeah. But nothing is stopping that Prince one when he's out there just playing in the rain. You know what I'm saying? Just Greg, you good? All right, just give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, we can't hear you, but yeah.
All right, bet. Welcome to the stage, Greg.
Yes, sir.
What's up, my people? What's up?
What's going on, Reverend Do Right? You know what I'm saying? How you feeling?
We ain't seen you in a while, boy. Where you been, boy?
Work.
Ain't wrong with
Work
that.
and joining my grandchild.
I ain't mad at you. What you got to say about the Super Bowl halftime show?
I loved it. 100%. When Samuel came out and said what he was saying, loud as he was, it was great. If those people didn't understand what Kendrick Lamar was saying, just in song itself, the way he displayed all the Afro-American people, period. It was just off the chain. And what got me is what I liked the most, it wasn't a bunch of naked women. They were all clothed respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
And that was showing the world that we have more class than you guys depict us to have. We're not just what they consider half human people.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that didn't like it, it went over their head and they don't understand.
Well, I gotta play advocate a little bit because I get why it would go.
Shut up.
Mama Tucker said, "Thank you. I did my best clothes."
Get out of here.
She's a trip.
Oh,
but I think for the most part, I understand where the hate or where the backlash would come from the other side, because we're now living in I can't even call it a Republican society no more. We're living in the MAGA society, and we all know that there's some special people over there on that side. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I know why they would have something to say about it, but for the most part, I didn't understand why there were some who looked like us who had something to say about it, and they were vocal about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure what you were necessarily like looking for as far as like entertainment, especially from a rapper. You know what I'm saying? He did everything, and he brought out SZA. He gave you dancing. He gave you a message. He gave you bars. Matter of fact, for me, on the personal note, from a musical standpoint, he went out there without no backing vocals. A lot of those performers go out there lip syncing. You know what I'm saying? He performed on 4 different stages. You know what I'm saying? He had choreography, he had the stage show, he had everything. You know what I'm saying? And I think there was supposed to be some pyrotechnics, but because Trump was in the audience, they could not I guess that couldn't go too well, especially with the recent events that had happened with him. So he had a different type of show. But I think for the type of person that he is, and especially for the type of stigma that they put on hip hop or even rappers, I think he did a brilliant job. And I think for the most part, the thing is with Kendrick, and we got talked about a lot from, especially us on the show, from people who are Drake fans. You know what I'm saying? They want to party, they just want to look for a good time. We got made fun of because if you're a Kendrick fan, essentially it means that you're well educated, you're well read. You know, say you have some type of intelligent level, saying that supersedes like the 3rd grade, saying our attention span is a little bit more intellect, saying like we have a little more prestige again with us, saying? So, but I just don't understand the hate that we got from our own community. Why do you think that we had that type of hate from our community?
Like I said, with Drake, everything is a party. You got the women half dressed and all that. Kendrick Lamar came from Compton, straight out of Compton. And we already have this stigma about Compton. Gangbangers, drug dealers. It's all negative. For a young man to come out and rap about positivity, about ethnicity, not only blacks, Mexicans, just letting the public know, letting society know that we're here to stay. We helped build this country, and all the negativity that our own people have, they're missing the point. They're looking at society as, I'm gonna get mine, you get yours, instead of coming as a group And that's what gets me about society today. It's all an individual thing. It's not a group thing.
Good point.
There's a great.
I want to say too that people are also forgetting that you asked a Pulitzer Prize winner to come up here and do a show for y'all, and you thought he wasn't going to do some intelligent shit, right?
Right.
Kendrick Lamar has a Pulitzer Prize for his music. You know what I mean? With that being said, that should let you know more than enough about that individual. But I think that's always been the problem with Kendrick, because if you listen to his albums, they're all themed around a message. Like even with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, everybody was talking about how boring and dull it was. But if you listen to the words, you know what I'm saying? If you actually pay attention, that's the problem. People don't want to be responsible. They just want to put something on and not have to do anything that requires them to be an adult about it. Yeah. Oh, it's just music. We're just having a good time. The problem with Kendrick has always been when he talks, he's not talking just to talk.
Yeah.
He's not here to entertain you in that regard. You know what I'm saying? He's an entertainer, but he's not here to shuck and jive for you. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
Exactly. Alexandria.
And that's the problem.
We got to talk about that.
That's the problem today. Everybody's looking for a good time, entertainment, and we're getting ready to get blindsided by the ones that are in office. True. And he's trying to let the society know that we got to open our eyes before it's too late.
That was the whole message. Mama Turkey said they thought Jigaboo, and he said Jigga who? I feel you on that one, Mama Turkey. Alexandria Knight says, I went to my children's Valentine's Day dance last night. Those children were lit. E minor was so loud. So that song is a club song, in my opinion. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It really is, though. But, you know, so now you're speaking to Sagittarius third. Kendrick is petty. Kendrick is mad petty. You know, and there are people saying he shouldn't have performed that song. He was petty, and I'm all for it, because at the end of the day, I remember a certain person from OVO saying like, "Hey, a little dude, put out some drop." You know what I'm saying? And he dropped, and the next thing you know, Kendrick's winning Grammys. He swept the Grammys. He's performing at the Super Bowl. You got the world singing this song, and at the end of the day, he had the whole stadium on the Super Bowl crowd saying A minor with the small A chain. I mean, like, and then when he looked into the camera, he said, "Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1." And he had that smile. He looked dead into the camera and just petty. You know what I'm saying? He's a Gemini, but Geminis are essentially the yin to the yang of Sagittarius. So I understood the pettiness, and I was all for it. I was all for it.
People act like Drake didn't go on a damn tour with back to back after he destroyed Meek Mill. You know what I'm saying? Didn't nobody tell Drake to chill? Hey, you doing too much? That man was doing back to back for 2 years straight in every city near you. You know what I'm saying? Did nobody complain? I don't want to hear that shit.
Here, I gotta give Drake some props. Back to back was hard.
It was.
I was rooting for Meek Mills because I'm like, I thought Drake was one of those like poppy R&B dudes. You know what I'm saying? So when Meek came out with his, I'm like, that's cool. But when Drake came out with back to back, it had me spinning it back to back. Drake was hard with that one. He went hard. He went hard.
And we gave him that. Nobody sued. Nobody started dropping Instagram memes and pictures of people's girlfriends and wives and shit. And Meek Mill took it gracefully, shut his ass up. You know what I'm saying? And came back with what was that? Dreams and Nightmares. After that, just shut up and make some music.
Alexander says Drake has plenty of bops. You know, he does. Different taste for me, but he has some dope stuff. Like, you know, I like that Scorpion album he did. You know, but the thing is, the only person to blame for all of this is Drake, because when he put out that lawsuit in entertainment, they have a thing. There's nothing. There's no such thing as bad publicity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Shit.
all publicity is good publicity. And so when he put out that lawsuit, everybody's talking about it worldwide. All these news outlets, you know what I'm saying, is bringing up this thing. Well, will he perform it? You're suing Universal Music Group, which is the same label as you and Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was essentially your fault. You know what I'm saying? Add to the fact that, you know, you talked about that man's wife. You know what I'm saying? You I don't know, man.
Friend. You know what I'm saying? His wife, his best friend was sleeping together. They had a secret child, and you over there, TK Kirkland, taking care of the baby. All kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Is that not the same thing?
You can. It's like he can dish out stuff, look for all the dirt in the world on a person, but when it comes back on him and society jumps on board, he can't take it.
It's that privilege.
That was the whole problem. He can't believe that the world turned on him that fast, not knowing that fame is fickle. Fame is very fickle, sir. You ain't gonna be up there for, bro. You're almost 40. To be honest, you should be over this shit by now. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be starting rap beef at 40. At 40, you shouldn't be trying to start a rap beef. You know what I'm saying? You should be making investments. Doing charitable work, you know, doing that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can't get in a rap beef at 40, tear your ACL and then call the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that, bro.
Here's where I'm gonna give Drake some credit.
About me. Get out of here.
Right.
With that.
No, but here's where I'm gonna give Drake some credit though, right? So Drake came up, whether he's Degrassi, Canada, whatever, he came up watching rap battles. You know what I'm saying? So he even had Daylit within his camp. I mean, dude was. So I give him that as far as like his battle rap pedigree. You know what I'm saying? So and he didn't run. He sat up there and J. Cole apologized like 2 days later. You know what I'm saying? Like Kendrick stayed there. Drake stayed there and he actually did his thing. He just, you know, he got his tail whipped. You know, but the person that he should have learned from was Jay-Z. Because after when Jay-Z kind of like, and I love Jay-Z, you know, after when Jay-Z lost to Nas,
Jay-Z need to get a haircut. I don't know what that crap is sitting on top of his head.
Hey man,
you sound kind of you sound like white chocolate now, man. It's a black person's hairstyle. You know, why are you telling them to cut it? You know, it's locks.
That's like Cam Newton. You don't know what you. But I get him that he gave him props and stuff.
You seem hair envious, sir. You know what I'm saying? That's what that is.
Oh, I can't stand the hair.
All right,
it just takes me back to when KRS One. Now that I love KRS One, all his music, everything about KRS One. Because he was all political.
Hey Regina, hold tight. You gotta put on your camera. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to get settled in. You gotta put on your camera. Make sure you're in a good spot with some Wi-Fi. I see you. We got you backstage. We have our special guest speaker, our special guest today. But real quick, Greg. Adoration. How you doing?
Hi.
Real quick, what did you think about the Kendrick halftime show? Give me something like 2 minutes, and I got to segue into the next segment.
I loved it. I mean, I don't think everybody in the world loved it. Of course, we got the other group who is actively hating and mad for everything. Like, I didn't understand one word he said. I'm like, you understood. You just didn't like what he said. Let's be honest.
Right.
He didn't like what he said. He said it all. He said it all in 13 minutes. He was not talking about Drake. Yes, Drake is the beef, but
he did talk about Drake. Let's keep that. But he did talk about Drake.
But what I meant was that was for who we know it was for, and they knew it was for them. Is what I'm talking about.
Correct.
And they didn't like it. And the guy got on stage. So it was the worst halftime show ever. Nobody knew the music. I'm like, bro, he got Grammys, he got Emmys. I mean, he had more views.
A Pulitzer. He has a Pulitzer Prize.
Literally. So. And I live overseas. Okay. Everybody in the world is dancing to it, talking about it. They loved it. So,
Greg, you should be extra proud.
Like it?
Compton, stand up.
The CPT. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, we know who didn't like it. We knew it's the right wing. We knew, but then there were some black people within our own community who didn't like it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we will circle back with that. I'm gonna get into some quick promo. Sis Regina, are you ready? All right, well, I'm gonna promo a little bit. Now I'm gonna bring you in. We're gonna talk about genealogy and why it's important to research your genealogy. So, all right, so let's get into a little quick promo real quick, and then we shall return.
We always say when we come to this point that it's really important for us to realize the true strength and the resilience that's in our DNA. And you come back to the actual place that you know your ancestors came from, that means that there was one individual in your family, at least, who, as Brother Nago said, was able to endure. So the fact that we all have made it back here, made a choice to come here to honor the ancestor of yours that made it is really significant. Everybody here should really be proud of themselves, that you're representing a member of your family, because there are family lines that ended here. Take a moment of silence, and since we have Dr. Page here, just to really continue to give her a thank you for the work that African Ancestry has done over 25 years to make it possible for us to really be able to say, I'm from modern day Nigeria, and I'm Yoruba, I'm Igbo, I'm Fulani, Hausa, I'm one of those ethnics that came from here. So let's just take a moment of silence in gratitude, because we done came back, we look good, we smell good, we got money in our pocket, and we're doing well.
And we got Sis Regina Khalid Callaway in the house. How you doing?
I'm doing blessed. How are you guys? It's good to be here. You guys are robust and keeping the vibrations. Y'all spicy.
Just a little bit, you know. This is a platform where we allow a safe space for people to drop their thoughts, views, and opinions. We talk about everything, whether it be religion, politics, social issues, things that plague the Black community, whatever plagues America, whatever we feeling like, things that affect our social lives. We talk about it. We talk about it all, and we try to get a different perspective to help other people understand that perspective, so maybe they can walk in with a little bit more knowledge.
You know, what's interesting, I was speaking with my cousin earlier, and we were speaking about how we need to bring back the custom of Friday night fish fry. And so this is what that feels like a virtual Friday night fish fry. Just the way the candor, the topics of the discussion, the back and forth, the intelligence, the learning at the same time, but it's all in good fare, all in shared kinship, and how we need to have more of that type of exchange, because therein where we learn the stories, therein is where we're teaching one another. And then also for the young ones who may be privileged to listen at our ankles, they learn customs about who we are. That's how I got into family history. That's how I came into loving my history, starting with my family and their stories. And one other thing I want to add is really interesting is that you showed that particular clip in Badagry. Our family actually had gone to Nigeria together in 2001, and we actually went to that area, to Badagry, and to make atonement with our ancestors. So I know I'm in the right place and in the right time. I always say a prayer before I do these things. And I was like, no, he didn't just go to the spot where we were at. So it's good to be here. It's good to be here.
Nice to meet and nice for you to be here. Sis Regina, we have my brother Quez. We go back. We went to high school together. This is my lady Jessica right here.
Hey, Queen. Good to meet you. All right. Yes.
We have my cousin Greg. He's my cousin on my maternal side.
Hi, cousin Greg.
Hello.
And then we have Adoration here. She's all the way in
Taiwan right now.
Wow. Wonderful, Adoration. It's good to see you.
Good to meet you too.
So we've had talks on this show about discovering our roots, discovering who we are, self-identity. We've talked about foundational Black Americans. We have some who are in favor of that, and then we have some who are like me, who like I feel like our roots dig a little bit deeper than the foundational Black Americans, and I get the perspective of them, but I also see the perspective on the other side too.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to ask you. So, what got you interested into genealogy?
Well, it was a little bit of the both sides in the topics that you were just discussing. I mean, I'm from Oakland, California, Louisiana, reared on both sides,
Right.
African centered. We were fortunate in Oakland to be in the midst of the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement at the same time. I was born on the cusp. That would privy us to a lot of international ties and exchanges. And one of the most vibrant exchanges was when continental Africans were coming here to go to school, at least, with the colleagues and the teachers that I grew up around. And they also shared their culture. We provided the houses, the dance houses, the institutions. We wrote the grants. We gatewayed them into colleges and universities, and this trickled down into our communities, particularly our community centers, who came to be some of the country's leading institutions around diaspora, dance and drum culture, or what they would coin phrase ethnic. But what we always endeavored to do was name the continent, name that Africa is a continent, not a country, and the countries within, and thus in turn the ethnic groups. We came to learn the ethnic groups by way of learning the dances, the songs, and the foods, the clothing, while we were learning the choreography and presenting and performing. As much as I loved it and love it, and it is definitely my breath, when I would come home to my grandfather's house, Claude Waters Jr., give praise to life, of Junction City, Louisiana, he was not impressed. His thing was, for all of the money we might be fundraising for them to build whatever home on the continent, make sure that you're doing that here. Whatever stories you're learning from them on the continent, make sure that they know about your story here.
Mm-hmm.
The way that he
like
saw it, right? The way that he saw it was, don't be so enamored by the kings and the majestic, glorified stories in and around Africa. We have those stories too, but they also must know this story here. So his thing was, make sure you build something with your name here. Make sure you tell your story, our story, so that they can know, and then we can bridge the knowledge of exchange. He felt like that the blood, sweat, and tears that we poured into the grounds of this earth made it very lucrative for folks not to have to go to the conditions that they were subjected to. So for me, I live like it's not a double-edged sword. I would call it a double axe, where both sides is functional to my understanding about who I am and my history and when I teach it.
Nice.
Amazing. Amazing.
Claude Waters Jr., Junction City, Louisiana. Give praise to life. Libations.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys have anything? Any questions? That you guys
now, while she brought that up, I did want to kind of divulge a little bit deeper into growing up in the Bay, because for us, it's a very unique culture. I know several people from the Bay. I've been up there quite a few times. The energy from those movements, I think, spearheaded a lot of the resistance from that point forward with people in the diaspora, as far as in America. They kind of set the tone and set the trend. I'm just curious, like, what that was like growing up during that time, because of course I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure it could be a very unique experience just from what I've read about those two
Yeah.
groups.
It's interesting, the innocence of kids. coming up during those times. I mean, we had a somewhat of a veil. It's nothing compared to what our cousins were going through in Mississippi or Alabama or Georgia. Nothing compared to, I mean, even the Black Panther Party logo came from Loudon, Mississippi, from some of their earlier Black civil rights movement before it was called civil rights movement. Some of their movement to get justice and rights to keep people from lynched or beat down on the streets. So it came from, that's the connect. So when you see that Black Power, not Black Power, but the Black Panther symbol. The other thing is that I would say, and I'm thinking in the eyes of when I was younger, first of all, I saw how my people, my aunties or great aunties or grandmothers, grandparents, how they were impacted when something happened to a civil rights leader, right? You would feel if there was mourning or if there was a shock or if there was a concern, we felt it too, even though we didn't know the granular information around it, we were impacted by it too, because time just stood still in the living room or in the kitchen, or everybody gathered around the TV and you can just hear how palpable it was that they felt what had just been impacted the nation. So that's one way. Another very real way was a group of sister friends of mine. We were at elementary school, and we wanted to be Angela Davis, and so our mothers and aunties wore afros, but ideally our hair was in pigtails or cornrows. We never wore afros in elementary school, right? But I didn't notice that until the day we dared to do so. For whatever reason swelled in our soul, we said we was all gonna show up and wear afros. We walked out the house, with our hair combed one way. And when we got to the center, then, we combed it out in an afro. One particular teacher caught us. I didn't understand at the time still why that would be an issue, because, my auntie and them wore it. Why couldn't I wear it? Well, they'd hurry up and put the rubber bands back in their hair, but I didn't. And because I wouldn't, I got sent to the principal's office. This was elementary school. When my mother came, of course, she defended me. But when she got home, she put the fear of God on my heart about, being resistant like that and not defying principles, but not telling her what I was doing before I left the house. So that let me know about the protective nature about being engaged or even associated with that work. And then I further learned through our own family history and having a conversation with her is that she started very young in the movement. When there were city officials like Donald Ward, this would correlate to the time of when Miss Chisholm, bless her soul, was running for president, and Congresswoman Barbara Lee was her anchor, and definitely our liaison here. This will be during those times. And so my mother was a young, I would say, volunteer and organizer, even through her arts, starting at the age of 15, 16. I think she might have been in junior NAACP at the time as well, but that was even before I was born. So here I come trying to sport an afro before what she knows all about the work. And be honest, I'm gonna let you know, when I wear an afro, even to these days, if I wear one, I have a better reverence and respect for it. Was more than a hairstyle. So I used to even purport afro was more than a hairstyle. It's a movement, it's our identity, is our thread connecting us back home. So those are that's some of the ways that being reared during those times in Oakland impacted me, or one of the marked ways, yes. And we heard drums a lot. Drums was regular. And we might have started emulating the language Ungawa with Black Power, but we finally learned what those words were. That was important too in having exchange with our continental brothers and sisters from Africa.
Sure.
Nice.
That was tough.
I'm looking at you guys' faces.
Man.
So a little backstory.
Please.
I started my ancestry journey, a long, long time ago. But I took my ancestry DNA in 2016. And I started to learn new things about myself. I started to learn about family I never knew I had. I had a whole nother set of aunts, cousins, and everything. And with that being said, with that journey led me to Sister Regina, because she's actually my fourth cousin. And I found her on
Wow.
Ancestry.
Bona fide.
Beautiful.
On the tree.
Right.
Yeah. They say on the tree.
And
Wow.
she's related to me through my father, my father's father, which again, he didn't really know who his father. Well, he knew it's another story. So like when he discovered who his father was, we started taking this journey together. We started going down this long, long road, and we started to learn more about him and himself. And in return, I started to learn more about myself. And then that's where it led me to Sister Regina. She reached out to me before, and was like, hey, so how are we related? Because we both have a connection to Louisiana. And she's actually related to me on I'm related to her on both her mother and her father's side. That's how like small Louisiana is. Do you care to tell them who else more about your family and who you're related to?
Well, to what my cousin has said, like, we are so related. We're just related, y'all. And I'm not one of those people who will say, oh, we share this, so we're this. Nope, I need to know how we're related, right? We could just go ahead and call each other cousins. Well, I'm gonna need to know how. How is that connection? What is the story behind that, right? And so what's so cool is that cousin, he's a tenacious researcher, and he stayed on top of things, and he stayed on me like fire, right? And so it encouraged me to push further so that I could fill in blanks where he had questions, had really good leads that also populated the tree that I was doing, and also made some connections and just would open up like whole other generations. I think the kicker for me, and when he said that we're both related with Louisiana, as you know, they call it the boot. So from the northern down to the tip, it's like all different variations, types of life. And so it's not just one way. Louisiana also is its own structure of laws. They still call Napoleonic. And so when you get up to northern Louisiana, which is close to the Arkansas border, you's up in the wilderness, you up in the rural, right? And so if you go to the west, or excuse me, to the east, where the Carroll parishes are, this is the area where cousin and we connect. What really was the joy was seeing and learning more surnames. Particularly, we connect on the Wilsons, we connect on the Culbersons, the Gaddis, and if you can think of any of the cousins, just throw them out. But what really got me was because that particular area is that where my grandmother, Mommy Elsie, we call her Mommy Elsie, she's Elsie Waters, who is the wife of my grandfather I spoke to you about earlier. So she was just as feisty about her family history, even more fierce. Like she made my grandfather buy a new computer and then have me sit there and make her a book of all her people. And this was before Ancestry.com. She called people in Louisiana. It was on a phone tree, and she took dictation. She had worked with the county for like over 12 years in hospital and medical billing. So she was meticulous in transcribing and translating. And so she took all those names down, and we put it in a pattern that we could understand, kind of like following what you see today as a family tree. Had to code it because there were several lines, and some lines had 12 or 13 people, that kind of thing. And so, and from that came like a little book. And so with that was the precipice of me being able to really connect with people. By the time the technology game came into place, I was out the blocks because I had all of this content, this material, right? And so this is what I do encourage with folks. You can be enamored by the technology, but you can be used by it if you don't know how to use it. Exactly. You have to optimize it coming with your information. If you're asking questions and you believe you don't know, It's because something in you is knowing that wants you to know, and you're the person that asks the question. And because it's your birthright, you're gonna know. So that's the first and foremost thing I like to dispel myths in and around journeying down our particular history. The other thing is that, you know, the field of genealogy, when it was conceived, did not have us in mind to chronicle, document, learn who we were. Not especially how we came into this country. You know, we were tick marked and every other little thing beneath humanity. Do you understand? But trust and believe, for me, what I have learned as we come this far by faith. And what I mean by that is that our people had a sense of knowing coming here, no matter what the delusions or the confusion were, that which was embedded in them always stayed. And they were big time coders, decoders, and code talkers. So I can even speak like this in the knowing because those codes are encoded in my DNA, right? And so it is important to also call the names because that's what we did in remembrance of our ancestors as griots, right? In some societies, like what I've learned by way of Senegalese culture, you have the Kuyate lineage, and they're known as the royal family lineages. And if you have twins, then that is like extra fortune in the village because they're the ones that's going to recite your family lines all the way back to maybe Salif Keita or up until your present, or in the neighboring and village lines too. Well, that's what we're doing. That's what we do inside of the living rooms on a Friday night when we're talking, especially the ones who came from Louisiana. They're remembering Mississippi. They're remembering Arkansas. They're remembering. That doesn't leave them, right? If we don't ask them questions, then there isn't a need for them to share to feel motivated to do so. And God knows that whatever the environment, the time, the dynamics that happen in our families and among us, sometimes it stacks on us like crust when it's not clean, but it's the breakthrough that helps us to overcome, to get to our story. It's very important because all it is a story of remembrance, of tools and wisdom that we can take forward because we have our perfect star that we were born with too, and we're adding to that story. So we just need a little bit for what we can access to add to our story, right? And forward it into history so that the next lineage can enjoy. So, but I say while we have breath, let's enjoy it now. So let's optimize off of these tools, you know, technology, information, resource. The trailblazers have, they have gone from the halls of these hallowed halls that still holding information of ancestors won't give it up, all the way to erasure of records to this day because of the very vote of this country. That's about ready to shift how you and when you get your information.
Right.
So this becomes critical, good people. I'm saying this not just as a crusade, but it is definitely moved into a calling for sure. There's nothing hobbyish about Black people researching their family history. I'm gonna tell you that straight. It's $1 billion business.
Yeah, that's what I was. You know, the funny thing is, I've expressed this to the panel, and I've had Quez. He's done his ancestry. He's at 23andMe. Letitia, she's done her ancestry DNA. Jessica's done her ancestry DNA. Melvin has done his 23andMe. So it's one of those things where I encourage people to actually start digging and finding their roots. And because the funny thing is that they all have 80% more African than I do. I'm at a staggering 77%, and I'm all, I found my African roots. I know my Cameroonian cousins. I know this. I'm that. And, yeah, but all they have more African. Well, I like to introduce somebody who has like 90-some% African quiz. That's right.
You know what? It's just so reflective of who you truly are, brother. That's all that is. It's just telling the truth through you.
Yeah.
Right.
Telling the truth through you.
Listen, I did want to add something real quick.
Sure.
Because you had mentioned some advice that your grandfather gave you, which I thought was imperative. And through the transmutation of time, of course. Do you think that same message stands true today? Because honestly, the reciprocity, you don't really see it in that kind of regard. We pay more reverence to Africa compared to what comes back our way in regards to him telling to make sure they know these stories and things of that nature.
You sound like my grandfather. You might be in a full version of it, but I feel you. So listen, so my grandparents are no longer here. We just lost my grandmother, 2 grandmothers within the past 3 years. And my paternal, thank you so much. There's so much with me. My paternal one was 108 when she transitioned.
Wow.
And the maternal one, that's my grandfather's wife, was 98. And she actually, her heavenly anniversary day comes up on the 27th of this month. And so, to be honest, I'm going to tell you whatever you can do to get those stories of them, of your folks from here, to do it. And can I tell you that, well, first of all, I feel like I want to offer you all on this panel, I want to offer you all private sessions to forward your work, because you're already commissioners of this work, of who you are, and I want to see that grow. I will be very firm with you because of your brilliance and your intelligence, and I feel like there's a command to do so, but I honestly want to help you all with your trees to forward that work and analyze your DNA. I'm offering you that on behalf of my services. Forgive me, that's my dog. It's Zocali ancestry. He's the guard dog. I will say there's not too many per se like my grandfather, but there are pockets of those elders who are willing to speak to you.
Yes.
And we have to go and talk to them. You can try the community centers. You can, the senior centers. They are a wealth in your neighborhood. Remembering who are the elders that are still there is a fundamental conversation that starts with how you doing, right? What was it like if you're in the neighborhood where they're reared or where your people are from? What was it like? Boom, boom, boom. Also, too, you can go to local directories, churches where your people have been. Obituaries are a minefield of names correlating locations, geographies, who did what and when, and connected to who and what pastor and who was the who were doing the funerary rites. All of that connects. The schools yearbooks too. Sometimes maybe you didn't know a particular member of your family, but if you knew what high school they went to, yearbooks are actually accessible. Newspaper archives down at your county library or your local library, depending on like what their specialty is. I would gather that immediate information first while you're doing the oral history. And may I just suggest that you have some respect for these elders. I don't care what they've been through, how they act, and what they do. It had to get really ninja for me moving to those waters. I remember when we buried my father in 2009, bless his soul, and here is his mother still alive, and that was her baby, right? And we weren't always in her life. There was a gap of time where we all went our own lives. But when I had to come back and we rekindled and stuff, I was, here I am, want to ask all kind of questions. And she looked at me, why you gonna go messing with the dead? And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that?
I've heard that before too.
You heard that?
Too.
Why you going messing with the dead, Regina? I was like, because I need my information. But what it was a love story that developed between us because she saw that I was genuinely interested. And
Right.
that definitely meant sitting with her customs around eating, around, she was very much into the word. She'll tell you she was once in a juke joint, but you know, her man Brown saved her and connected her with the word. And she definitely, in our lineage in Claiborne Parish, Louisiana, please, we will rock the rafters off a church. So that's the person who she was and imparted, and thus in turn I was able to, if you can imagine, go back 2 generations behind her before she left this planet. So that's critical, Quaz.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
I think Greg has a question and Jessica has a question.
Let's get it. Yes.
It sounds like I'm back in my elementary school history teacher. Miss Pleasant. Miss Pleasant was one of those to where she would go back and tell us history. She would sit with us and ask us questions and made sure that we understood about our history. Because your history can never be taken away. They can't eliminate what they're trying to do now.
Yep.
And people don't realize when you sit down with a seasonal person and get that information, you're enlightening them just as much as they're enlightening you. Because they feel like they're getting ready to be discarded. And when you interact with a seasonal person, it just opens up their eyes to where a shining light. The reason I know so much is because I've always done that. I've asked questions. I hung out with the older generation when I was young. So to sit down with I hate to say it, my elder pastor before he passed away.
Wow.
He was like a novel of Black history, and I just love just sitting down, just listening to him talk.
Right.
So I could feel you on that.
Hey, Jess.
Absolutely.
My question is, both sides of my grandparents have passed away. My dad's side, they've done a family tree.
Oh,
So
nice.
So I've been interested in family trees for quite some time, because of that. I've seen that as a child.
Yes.
So my question is for my maternal side, how do I dig deeper and find more information about that? Because she was adopted.
Okay.
So it's been kind of tough to find information.
I know this is a test right here because first of all, give praise to the life of your ancestors that's transitioned. And then to that, I always think people who are adopted are special stars, and they have a special right for forwarding their story. So the person who is selected to unearth that story is almost like the cosmos are saying it's the right time. So again, going back to it being your birthright to know, we can do that. So now there's everything from angel agencies that specialize in cracking cases of adoptees. That's one way. If you've already done your DNA, then you're on the road. So we would need to analyze that for sure. Sometimes there is a story that is missed in your, or you may want to revisit, or questions that you want to revisit with folks around you in and around that maternal side. it could be not, it doesn't necessarily have to be straight ahead the names of the person that was known associated with. Sometimes it could be the school that they went to, what house did they live at, what block, in what city, that kind of thing.
I think she froze up, man.
No, I thought it was me.
Right.
I thought it was me.
Oh, there we
Okay.
go. There we go.
I'm
You're
here.
back.
Okay. I have seen where people have been able to just pick up and gather breadcrumbs of information and with some deduction about their age, and then relegated to the high school era, and then begin to look in that town's yearbooks for people, for the names associated that may correlate. And also, too, you want to think about, they're speaking research genealogy about cluster genealogy, cluster research. I sometimes call it community kinship. That's how I came into actually making correlations in and around me, around people who are related to me. Even sometimes in your family, like a whole gaggle of folks meet at the fish fry and they just know each other so infamously, you just wonder if they're family, but the family said, no, they're not family, so not related to us. And then further down the line, I'm researching, I was just like, I don't even know how you guys cannot even think so. You're in this area, this vicinity, and then I show them the picture. There's only a mile, you don't even need you could walk it if you wanted to walk, because you didn't have a car, So how would you think that not to say you had to be related, but I just felt like they were, right? And so there's the synergy of proximity as well, right? You leave no stone unturned. You let no one turn you around, right? And also be tenacious about organizing your files, what you collect, what you gather. Never take for granted the moment to transcribe information that you receive. Don't put it off till later. I learned that a lot the hard way, trying to retain things in my head. And we're talking about retaining lifetimes that live beyond you in quantity. So you got to write stuff down, and also make sure you have backup files on your computer. That's important as well. And use your phone, record yourself. Okay, I just came from talking to so-and-so. The house looks like this. It's on this block. So-and-so said this. I want to look into this. Like that. And that's helpful too, as well. And again, my offer stands inside of when we may meet, separately, and then you can come back and report to your audience your progress to encourage others. We can look at. I can give you some other strategies around that. Are you on Ancestry.com?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay.
She's on Ancestry and 23andMe, and the next thing I'm
Excellent.
going to do for her is I'm going to do her African ancestry. I want her to
beautiful.
find her maternal lineage to connect with a specific group in a specific country on the continent. So that's the next step for her, as she graduates.
Very good.
Also, I want to give you some props because for those who don't know, she's the one that helped me when I was finding out more about Louisiana, I actually went to Louisiana. I traveled. I went to New Orleans, and I traveled up north to where our families are from. I walked the graveyard where our ancestors are buried. I went back to New Orleans, and I touched the ancestral the grandfather tree. And on Sundays, I believe the Sundays they meet up down there and they play drums. They give offerings to this tree. They pray. They celebrate. They just what's the word I'm looking for? They fellowship. And it was just one of those beautiful things, just being connected, just knowing that my ancestors walked these routes. But even more so with that, she's the one that helped get me connected to the continent of Africa by getting me plugged in with DNA tested Africans, and I found African relatives on this continent. That's why I was saying with Quez, I was saying a little bit more, like I know that my lineage does not stop here in America, where I have cousins who are actually walking the continent where I share blood with. I know that my roots dig a little bit deeper than America. So while I do have ties to this land, I know that my ancestors didn't necessarily native of this land. You know what I'm saying? So I can respect both, but more so importantly, I can have a connection with the continent because I know this is where my people come from. And it was because of you, cousin Regina. You know, I got connected with the Cameroon side. I wanted to start digging further, so I did my African ancestry, and I saw that my paternal linked up with the Fong people of Gabon, and my maternal was the Fula of Guinea-Bissau. You know, so I found cousins in Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana. You know, this has been beautiful. It's been a beautiful journey.
Yes, yes,
And
indeed.
Actually, I was gonna say for me, my father used to always tell stories about our grandparents on his side, and I know a little bit about my mom's. It was just funny when he said native to the land. My mom, on my mom's side, her grandfather was actually Native American.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So actually, I have a string of people who actually are native to this land before slaves, before white people, before that. So, you know what I mean? It is interesting talking about it because my dad did tell us stories about our great great, you know, that he would have passed down. So I know my grandfather, Benjamin Lee, who walked up out of slavery. And I know his wife was actually a German lady. And on my mom's side, African American and Native American, but not the Native American that we know of, not the Native Americans. Oh, did she go?
Oh no, she's just moving to a different room.
Okay. Not the Native Americans that we know of, because there was a time where when they were doing the you know, they always changed Black Americans' identity in America. They actually started registering Native Americans that looked too much like us as Negro or whatever. And then they actually start allowing Caucasian people to register as Native American because they didn't want us to have certain rights to the land. So there's so many different things. And I love the way she was talking about the research that you do. Like, you can do it in ways that can, you know, circumvent some of the records that they changed and this and that.
You want to know what you're talking to another, because I mean, truthfully, and I make fun of him, but he's legitimate foundational, because not only Quez is his bloodline starts here in America too, or I think at some point, because he has a rare haplogroup to where I think that they migrated into the Americas, you know, at some point. So yeah, Quez's people, his paternal line is definitely native of this land too. Because I personally don't believe that they migrated back into Africa. You have to, especially where his lineage started, as far as his paternal, it started in a certain area where you would have to probably just keep going west. So, you know, and I think he's heard stories from his grandparents or his grandma that, you know, that there may have been some native there with, you know, at the same time, like you said, I met some people who look just like us who are actually Native American. And they wouldn't get recognized because of the fact that their skin. So I'm not negating that. I'm not negating that at all. It's definitely a thing about researching and finding out. But yeah, Quez is definitely one of them too. It's really unique. His haplogroup is really, really unique. Cousin Regina, just give me a thumbs up when you're ready to come back. All right.
They always told me I was special. You know what I'm saying? It's just my DNA, man. You know.
Well, we got 12 more minutes. I wanted to get into the TK Kirkland thing, but this is really deep. We can keep going with
TK
this.
Kirkland can wait, man.
Yes, we can wait.
We push him to next week. He'll still be single.
I definitely want to add about the Oklahoma Historical Society, and also advocacy organizations of those of us who have Native American ancestry, who are robust in the way that we go and we retrieve the records and that we share the stories. One of our trailblazing, I'm just going to say warrior queens, Nika Smith, who is nikasmith.com, and it's spelled Nika, Nicka. She's also a story producer on Ancestry, but she's a researcher in genealogy for over 20 something years. She's like my professor, so to speak. And in her own right, but she is. I'm gonna just say that. And one of the things that she did in her journey was to be able to research back to her history concerning Isaac Rogers, and you may hear like old stories in and around. I want to say Billy the Kid, or and you may have seen that series that was on TV recently in and around that. In her, it was one of her forefathers that was responsible for bringing him in. And it was also the linchpin of information that helped facilitated her getting her Cherokee Freedman card, not just for her, but also for her son as well. And so what came with that is a lot of methodologies and strategies to be able to help others who are on the journey, right? And can I just tell you to be able to look at some of the documents, particularly with the DAWS cards, they talk about DAWES. They talk about, and these used to be things that I look over because it was daunting. The information, I really didn't know how to comb it and break it down. But because of her agency and tenacity, is that I've been able to live through these cards and see narratives that depict from their own interviews about what they were going through at their time, from blood quantum to how they got there through whatever trail of tear or stolen or married who or enslaved by whom, whether they was Cherokee or such. These narratives are intact and in place, not necessarily under duress, but they were trying to get their plot of land. A lot of the some of the applications, not some, a lot were in denial or denied, but you could still see even in those denied applications their story and listing of the family clans and so on and so forth. So that's the other thing, is sometimes you hear that story about somebody being Indian, and in my field you'll hear a lot of people say, well, how do you have high cheekbones if your cheeks are already high? Is it a such thing of high cheekbones, low cheekbones? I really don't laugh about those things because my people used to say that. And and also too, they did have a certain structure of their face. I'm just going to say had an intrinsic eye, not to necessarily say, oh, it was Native American because they have pretty hair or anything like that, but there's another mix up in there and I need to corroborate it. In some instances, it was good old fashioned European mix, right? But in other instances, it was someone who was part Native American or full blooded or so on and so forth. They were not subjected to a way of being chronicled, whether blood quantums. They didn't care about all that. They were a sovereign nation before all of this colonization. So their frame of thought would be a whole lot different about giving up their information, right? It's a whole nother cosmology. So that has to be respected when we think about researching that and corroborating to what degree is that true or not. But that's a whole nother world. If you have relations like that, that is worthy to be unearthed, and it is beautiful and dynamic. It's a whole nother world.
That's why I like talking to like the elders too, because I feel like, especially in America, especially with our history, but all over the world, when you talk to like the indigenous people versus the people who just came over, what I mean, a couple of years ago, you get to know real truths. They do they put a lot of work into covering up the truth about the people, because we live in a time where they always preach that, oh, let's be fair and give give to who what's due, because they want us to be kind and fair to them. But they know that they have to hide who really was there first, who really owned this land. So they constantly mix up the documents. So I love talking to the elders because they're able to just tell you. Like, yeah, oh, my family is Native American. And it's like, well, how do you know? Because I was a kid and I was that. And it's like, oh,
Right.
so when though, you know what I mean? Like maybe
Mhm.
in the future, they're going to change
That's
us from
right.
being Black American altogether. Oh, these people were never Black American. This whole
Mhm.
slavery thing never existed.
Mhm.
And so when my kids
Right.
ask me, well, Mom, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm Black American. I was talking to the panel about that with Michael Jackson a while back when we were discussing Michael Jackson. And I hate to get on that topic, but I said the kids in Thailand, we did a camp, Michael Jackson tribute camp, the year that he died, and they thought he was a white lady.
Oh Lord.
They were like, look at the pictures. This is a white woman. And I'm like, if we don't, I'm like, if we
Come on,
don't,
man.
if you look at Michael Jackson's, offspring that are his offspring, people are going to think he's white in a few generations, unless we're telling these stories to our children, and they're telling those stories to their children, word of mouth, because
Yeah.
the records can be changed at any time.
Yeah.
They do these things on purpose. Michael Jackson is a Black man. We had to educate the entire Thai population of children because their parents knew Michael Jackson. They loved
Right.
Michael Jackson, but they didn't pass that on to their kids. You know what I mean? That's just music for them. Of course, he's an icon to them, but they didn't really know Michael Jackson was a real person, the children. And then on top of that, when they finally realized he was a real person, they were like, okay, white woman. And we're like, no. They were like, okay, white trans man, woman. And they were like, no.
The biopic is going to clear up all that. So,
praise the Lord.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Third playing Tito Jackson. You know what I'm saying? If you're on the lookout.
I would. I would. I would, man. I definitely would.
He better be a Black.
No, but Adoration brought up a good point. Like, oral tradition is something that's been going on for millennia.
Yes.
And once we lose that, because we're in this society where everything is, kind of handheld, and people don't actually talk to each other anymore. You are at risk of losing that oral tradition of passing down these stories and creating these memories to make sure that they live on. And like you said, if we're not careful, 150 years from now, the story could be something completely different if nobody's willing to speak up. So
exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. It's critical that the story that is told about who you are and your place on this planet is not his story, is your story.
Right.
Your story matters. And I shudder to think that for as cavalier and lax people can be about, oh, so-and-so is taking care of all that. She does it for everybody. We don't have to do anything. And I think about the thousands of agents of ancestors that one person is holding space for in the work. I also think about many hands make the work light. What can we do individually to contribute? Can you take this line? Can you take this? Can you at least go to the courthouse and get this? Can you look up online to do this? Can you call so-and-so? I already wrote the questions out for you. Can you ask them this? That kind of thing. Can you show up for your family reunions? Or if there isn't one, can you do one in your living room? Or can you do it on Zoom? That kind of thing.
Right.
My concern is, as we see what's just happened in LA, God bless their souls, like to see when fire comes through, there's no stopping it if once it gets started on those levels. And that was joined by years, decades of the land saying, this is who we are. We were here first. This is the natural habitat and character of how we operate. We are a force of nature, right? When we don't take those cues, it can be devastating. It's not just upon one act or anything missed. It's something we really need to look at more closely. And for the ones who, I'm not going to say survived it, these are a special lot of people in this particular movement, in this forced migration, right? that we need to look out for, because some of these people are our family and part of our community. And we've just seen communities, generations, and areas decimated. What does that mean to our story now? Right? What about those resources that will not be accessed? How will that story prosper and live through the pain, through the trauma? How will they be able to heal? It is possible for it to be done, but it mustn't be taken for granted. So, if you when you do have breath and you are able, trade out some of your time to advance your story. This is what I'm always saying.
Very true.
Man,
I love it.
appreciate
So,
you, Miss Calloway.
definitely appreciate you for coming through. Do you mind if I give them a little bit more information too about who your brother is, or you want to keep that?
You might want to say.
Why you trying to put our government out there, man? Go on, man.
Please don't. So now let's do a part 2 on that.
I got you.
Let's do a part 2 on that. Yeah, that would be good, because then that would prolong your show.
Absolutely. She just gave you a wealth of information for free. You still begging. You know
are we related? Cousin, are we related? Because I'm just feeling it. Are we related?
Yeah.
Nah.
We are? Are you sure we not? Where you from?
Man, I'm from California.
What part?
Right there in Oceanside, California. We're third
Oceanside. Okay.
Born and raised.
What's the surname? Family name?
What's up, Miss Johnson? Miller. Well, if you go to my maternal grandparents, it'll be Reese.
Okay, Reese. So I still have a really
They're in
good
Wisconsin by way of Mississippi. So.
Oh, I love it. What part of Mississippi?
That part I haven't tracked down yet, but because
we will.
Majority of it they spent in Wisconsin. My mom over here. Mom answered some questions.
Well, we've actually ran out of time, but where can they find you? Where can they find you, cousin?
You can find me at Regina Khalifa. That's CALIFA. ReginaKhalifa.com. I'm also on Facebook at R. Waters Calloway. And also you can find me at Enzo Khalifa Ancestry. I can leave this information definitely in the feed.
Yes.
I hope we do this again. I've just posted
to
my profile. Yeah, and all of you guys are awesome people before I met you, and even more so. And also,
well, stay backstage. I gotta end this show, but I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. We might do a part 2 next week. You know, if you guys are definitely interested in your ancestry, we'll do it again. But definitely, thank you guys for watching. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure you guys are liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you guys are on Facebook, make sure you hit the like and share button. Share. And we will see you next week. Peace.
All right.
Did you know that African ancestry tests are single lineage tests? For example, with the matriclan test, we trace your mother's line going back 500 to 2,000 years. What this means is when you take a matriclan test, no one else on your family line has to take a test. You've provided the answer for everyone.